Chrononauts, as we guide you through the experience of time travel using pop culture as our stabbed ketchup bottle.
There you go.
We will be your constants. I am Dez.
I'm Ari.
And I'm Scott.
And this is Time Pop. Time Pop.
Time Pop. Time Pop. That's synchronicity. Synchronicity.
Synchronic.
Oh, which is another episode you can hear on Time Pop.
Ari has questions. We have answers. What are we asking questions about? We watched, thanks to a letter from Matt from the Bay Area. Thank you, Matt. Beyond the Infinite 2 Minutes, which I think last time I said came out in 2022. I think it premiered at some festivals in 2020, and then I think it showed up on Prime in 2022. So there's, depending on what you're looking at. It's new to us, baby. 1 hour and 10 minutes, a sweet 70 minutes. Starring and directing some great Japanese folks, which I will not destroy their names just to do everybody a favor.
Hello?
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 If you can hear this, it's not too late. I return to warn you. This is Time Pop, a podcast that discusses time travel and pop culture. There are spoilers. I've seen the future, and nothing is sacred to these folks. Your past, present, and future are sure to be ruined. Even if you could go back in time, as I have, you will never forget what you are about to hear. You've been warned. This is Time Pop.
How do you feel about the hour and 10 minutes? Is this the most joyful time length for a movie, or are you solid about the 90? Do you want the hard 90, or you feel good about this?
I feel great about this movie being 70 minutes.
Yeah.
This movie would have become infinitely worse. I don't want to say, not that it was bad to begin with, but I think if they tried to cram 20 more minutes in, it either would have got boring with more unnecessary back and forth, or it would have got even weirder than it did.
I thought this was a really fun film. I liked it. It was a fun little frolic into time travel.
This was a super fun movie. I felt like I was watching a play.
Yeah, it did feel like a play. I had a lot of trouble with this at first.
At first?
Yeah, at first
Yeah,
I
did too at first.
I was like, what the fuck is going on? Why is the second version of him not coming down the stairs?
Yeah, it took us a second to get over this hump of it being a loop, and it's not per se, but then it is.
Yeah, for a minute, I was like, oh, maybe he's going up the front stairs and out the back stairs.
Yeah.
But no, that's not it. So yeah, do you guys have an answer to that other than it would have just made things complicated?
Yeah. No. Yeah, totally. And it took a second. And once I got it, I was like, oh, I got why it's not happening. It took me a second, just like we do in the show, to wrap our brains around the concept. So we'll get into it later, but theoretically, it's not a loop. There's a timeline. It's just that there's a portal between the two monitors, but it's not a loop. He's just talking to himself. The past self that he talked to came and became him. So it's not going to loop again. He's just talking to himself in the past. So time is not repeating. It's just that the monitor is talking to the version of him 2 minutes ago. Can you get it? Took me a while for my brain to accept it and move on, but now I'm there and I got it.
How do you see it, Desmond?
Can you get that though?
How
did you interpret this?
I just got over it.
But do you get what I'm saying? It's one timeline. He just happens to talk to himself 2 minutes ago in it. But that's just, he's talking to the past. It's not going to loop again. That was the version of him that came into this and became who he is now. There's just one timeline. He's just talking to the past version of him. That's all. It's not looping. Through this monitor, it's a little portal where he just talks to him 2 minutes ago. But that person had already came up and became him. So again, it's time is not looping. The monitors are just connecting these two times.
Okay. I get it.
It took me so long to get there.
It took me even longer. I honestly was like, no, he has to come down. Why? I was like frustrated.
It took me until this minute, because like I said, I was just like, it's a movie. It's fun. I'm just going to enjoy the ride.
You didn't try to figure it out, Des?
No. This movie kind of melted my brain.
Ari was like, I just need to think it's a recording. And I'm like, well, it's not, but it's just like, that's what I'm going to think of it.
So at first I thought of it as like a magical computer that had a recording of the future. So you first see a magical recording of the future. And of course, you're going to interact with that. And then when you go downstairs, then you're interacting with a magical recording of the past. And to me, I was like, well, why do they have to respond? What would happen if they just let it play and not respond? And of course, they don't do that at all throughout the whole
Yeah.
movie. So my theory never got, worked out. And then I was like, well, it's like a crystal ball where where they can see the future, see what's going to happen. But in order, I guess, for it to continue, they have to act as if for the, when they go back downstairs.
Yeah, they all bought into making sure that they were consistent right away. That helped.
Well, it became a thing where first it's fun and they're just like on both sides of this 2-minute portal. And then there's a point where they start getting paranoid. Like, if we do something different, will that destroy like time and space as we know it? Will it cause a paradox? We have to do it this way, right? And that's kind of where this got interesting when they start doing the Drost effect. Droste? Drost.
I think I was saying Droste.
French? If it's French, it's by Drost.
It's pronounced toilet paper.
What?
So I think this might be a good episode for us where we just do a quick explanation of the plot. I don't think we need to go into like then this happened in 2 minutes, then this happened. I think just the overall
totally
is probably adequate for this, right?
What's the description that they give you on?
Oh my God. It's okay. IMDb says a cafe owner discovers that the TV in his cafe suddenly shows images from the future, but only 2 minutes into the future.
That's it?
That's it. And then Wikipedia says the first part of Wikipedia, which is usually like a big paragraph that kind of tells you what's going on, most of it is explaining the titles of the movie in different languages.
No, the plot. I see the plot's right here on Wikipedia. It's
well, the plot part, but you know how there's usually a big paragraph before the plot?
Oh, right. Yeah.
We at the end of the Droste is the Romanized version of the original Japanese title. And then Americans said, fuck all that, Beyond the Infinite 2 minutes. Yeah, read the whole Wikipedia, Scott. We got...
All right, yeah. The film begins when cafe owner Kato discovers his computer monitor shows what will happen 2 minutes into the future from the perspective of the television in the cafe, which displays what happened 2 minutes ago into the past. The computer is brought down to face the television, creating a Drost effect, allowing the characters to see several minutes into the future. That's the whole thing, because they didn't try either.
So the Drost effect, people, is when, like, it's actually, they show it actually as the product is called Drost, but you'll actually see this a lot in advertisement where the person in the picture of the advertisement is holding the exact same picture of the advertisement. And then in theory, it just repeats itself into infinity.
Right.
Getting smaller and smaller.
I think you see that on like MC Escher illustrations a lot.
Yeah.
Of like a thing into a thing.
But I mean, I'm sure we've all done that where we have stood in front of a mirror that's facing a mirror and you see the infinite reflections. Yeah. And I've always wondered how that works and why that is possible. And it's the reflection off of the reflection off of that's bouncing back and forth off of the reflection.
Yeah.
And it's really cool.
Have either of you ever done like TV feedback with a video camera pointed at a TV set?
Yes.
You can make like video art out of it. Yeah. You end up we used to do this in film school and it was very art based. So it was the coolest thing to every student. Yeah. You take the video camera, you do the TV and you mess around with it a little bit and you twist and you can get this thing where like the video feedback, first you can see like screens into screens into screens in infinity. And then you just get like digital animation, like images and squids and things just happen. And just from the feedback, but you would catch little bits of like screen in a screen in a screen.
Yeah.
That is the concept. So eventually one of the friends says, we can see further into the future if we put the monitor from the past.
So the one monitor is on the 5th floor in the cafe owner's office or bedroom, and then he has the other camera in the kitchen. So he has it there. So in theory, sometimes he needs to take a break, go do some paperwork. He can go upstairs and then still talk to someone in the restaurant if he needs to.
Right. So taking the past monitor and putting it in front of the future monitor allows someone who was just in the past to see further into the future.
Yeah, the person would go in the middle, right? And then it would be like 2 minutes, 4 minutes, then 6 minutes, and then that would start going even further.
So this stuff just melted my brain. I don't know about you guys, but
Yeah.
and the way that they shot this, you know that whoever wrote this really figured it out and really timed it, because it was done flawlessly, it seemed like. As far as the different layers and in which layer they would appear, you have the infinite mirrors, and which, like the third one in, they would say this line, but then the fifth one in, they would.
And that, right. And if the fifth one is every 2 minutes, that's 10 minutes. And that means in 10 minutes, they have to recreate that line.
Yeah.
This was all, we should mention to our listeners that this was all mostly like, it's advertised, it's explained that it's all like one shot. We think they still took some liberties for like when they close up on the monitor. Maybe we need to watch with a careful eye, but this is mostly like a one-shot film. It's kind of revolutionary for independent film in that they have to have these pre-recorded messages, but also this all just goes in one shot from the monitors to downstairs, all the action.
Yeah, I wonder how long it took them to rehearse this.
It's super. Did you guys watch the full credits?
Yeah, they have the behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah, it was really cool to watch them.
It was shot on a drone camera and monitored through a phone.
Oh.
So this was like very exciting for independent film. But yeah, the amount of planning you got to consider for the plot points of time of 2 minutes, and then the organizing this in one shot.
It's pretty genius.
It's pretty impressive.
It's very impressive, the people who made this.
Yeah, they do it only, it's smart, right? Only like one bedroom, some stairs, and the main cafe. And that's all they need.
I had a bigger problem. The reason I was able to let go of the fact that they weren't running into each other on the stairs is because I was trying to figure out which... I'm a fucking nerd, and I still want to know what jackass keeps a 60-foot cable on his computer monitor.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Just in case.
I thought that as well.
They have to have wireless monitors. It's so weird that they didn't somehow try to feed that into... There's got to be Bluetooth monitors or, I don't know, something. But whatever.
So the beginning first, like I had the same problem of like, wait, this should be looping, and it's not. And then I got it. And I was cool. And then once they brought the Drost effect, then I was like, okay, this is getting interesting. And then at that point, they seem to have like created loops for themselves. It's not a loop, but they started getting paranoid. There's one part that's worth mentioning is they tell the main character that he should ask this girl out, and he's nervous to. And himself from the future says, yay, she said yes. And so he goes to do it, and she rejects him. And then when he goes back, like, the future me lied to me, and like, I can't believe it. And then the other woman says to him, you know what, but you got to lie to your past self, or else that'll change how the timeline, what we've created. Who knows? This might cause a paradox.
Yeah, they don't know what might happen if they don't do exactly what their future selves did.
Yeah.
And they're too afraid to do. And I wish that they would have. There was one point where they did something different and something happened, but I wish they would have done something different sooner, but they didn't.
But that's all of a sudden it's interesting. And I love that concept. We've seen this in movies, right? Where you just have to keep whatever happened happening, even if it's like a lie.
Totally.
It's a neat concept. So these guys are just goofy. This film is goofy. It's funny. It's the funny, except for frequently asked questions about time travel. It's one of the goofier, funny time travel films. But then they raise some interesting ideas, right? The Drost effect is interesting. The concept of like, do we have to keep this up?
So when they start doing the Drost effect, and I try to pay attention to this, and so does every 2 minutes a new monitor get placed into the effect as they go? As the Drost effect?
No, because there's no looping.
So when they first put the monitor down there, there's only, he says, I'm 2 minutes into the past, and then the other, or into the future. And then the same guy goes, I'm 4 minutes. And there's only two of them. And it's because they had a blanket over the computer that was behind the guy being the 4-minute guy.
Yes.
But once they took that blanket off is when they had the infinite screens.
So there's the one computer that's 2 minutes behind, right? Then there's the person who's in the present. Then there's the other monitor who's 4 minutes behind. But now the monitors are also getting the images of the people, and then beyond them, and then they're kind of seeing the image in the monitor on the image in the monitor. And so that's how it's kind of increasing.
So when they removed the blanket, it was infinity?
It should have been infinite.
Yeah.
They ended up saying because it's only like 5 minutes, it's just like it's not.
I think every 2 minutes another monitor got added.
Yeah, maybe.
Well, no, there's no time loop. It's just the image. It's the reflection into the other.
But if every 2 minutes you were seeing
Oh, but they've got the reflection, right? They've got the image of the monitor down there, the reflection of the monitor, of the reflection of the monitor.
So for our listeners out there, I'm really hoping that you saw this movie, because if you didn't, we're gonna sound like a bunch of idiots.
That's the case for every episode we do,
That's
really.
true. So
But this one especially, because there's no real plot.
yeah.
It's just these monitors facing each other, creating
Yeah.
an infinite set of 2 minutes. Because they never go back like a month or a day or a year. It's just
If you really wanted to give your brain like a good workout, you could sit there and try to figure out what they did. So they took the past monitor downstairs and put it in front of the future monitor. And within both monitors, you had the infinite squares, right?
Right.
So does all of the squares inside the past monitor go into the past? And do all the squares into the future monitor go into the future?
Right, because there's the future one getting the one from the past, and then the reflection of itself in the past monitor.
Right. So you could sit there and like draw it out or whatever you have to do to try to figure it out, and your brain will turn to mush. If you like that kind of stuff like we do, you have to be in the right mood and have the right mental energy to do that. Then yeah, go for it.
It describes a specific type of recursive picture in which a smaller version of the larger image is featured within the larger image.
That's the definition
The
of
practice of inserting a replica of an image within itself.
it should be infinite.
It can repeat as an infinite loop.
well, but I don't think it's immediately infinite.
In this case, right. Yeah.
I think it will only go back to the moment where he put the TVs facing each other. That's when it starts. And every 2 minutes, another TV gets added.
Well, the image of what they did gets added. It's not another TV. Yeah, an image of a TV in the screen.
And there was some time where they had the blanket over the monitor, but then they took the blanket off.
Yeah, why did they do that again?
I don't know.
So there is an issue, if we're going to call loopholes. I get the whole thing that it's one timeline and they're just looking into the past. So I'm with that. But there is a loop. Once you talk about, let's start with the scene where I mentioned that he asks the girl out and he's convinced she says yes. That has to be a loop. He never would have done it if the older version himself didn't tell him it was successful, and it never was successful. So there's no first time, because he would have failed and they would have lied, and he wouldn't have just lied
the
to himself.
monitor knew the future, knew what was going to happen, and showed that to him. Knew that he was still going to get rejected. So the future one got rejected.
I know,
too,
but you can't.
but because that's what they saw, that's what he did.
But why did what they saw lie to him?
It has to be a loop. It has to always be that way.
Because the monitor knew what would happen. It's like a crystal ball.
Right, but he's only doing it because he told himself that.
Yeah, the crystal ball, the monitor saw the future and knew that he was going to say yes.
No, it's got to be a loop.
It has to be a loop, right?
It can't be a crystal ball.
But it's not, though. Like, I agree with you. It should be a loop, but it's not. It's clearly not.
Well, that's a loophole. That's what I'm saying, is that part, he wouldn't have done it without him telling himself that.
Right, but none of this stuff they would have done. The ketchup bottle, they wouldn't have done.
But they set that up for themselves. This one, that worked, and they said, let me do this in the past, and they set themselves up. This one, he lied to himself. He only did it because he told himself that, but he wouldn't have told himself that if it didn't happen. Yeah,
Yeah, because all of the stuff if it's not a loop, his future self would be more surprised to talk to his past self the first time. And he's never surprised to talk to his past self. He's always like, "Hey, I remember seeing this." So
If it truly was a loop, there would be more than one of them.
well, it's a mistake. That's what I'm saying.
oh, I see what you're saying.
It's not, the movie is not about a loop, but for that to happen, it always has to have happened that way.
There's a point where one of them sends a text, right?
Right.
Yes.
A past one of them sends a text. And then when they get to that part, they're like, yeah, I got a text 2 minutes ago. The timestamp of the text is 2 minutes ago. So it's seeing the future.
Yeah. Well, it's a portal between two times.
Yeah. It's not that part where, he asked the girl out and she said no. It saw that, and that's what it showed. So that's what he did.
But it could always be. See, I think
Yeah.
We're all sitting here scratching our heads.
I feel like there's a loop, but it's bigger than this 2 minutes. This is where we come back to Scott's rule.
Well, they say that at one point that they're like, I think we're in a loop and stuff, but it's not a time loop per se in the film, but between the monitors, yeah, it is unique
Because it's not a loop because they're not going back and forth, but it's, let's see if I can draw this.
I mean, isn't this refreshing though? That there was a while we were just watching the same old like, oh, I have a thing that can go in the past. Once I do it, it causes stuff, and then I got to fix it. So we've been watching some different stuff lately. This one's, I love the idea. I love the plant the thing in the past and it arrives in the future. Like the Bill and Ted did when they do the catch-up part.
The catch-up, yeah. He's like,
the future self says to younger self, "Oh, you're gonna plant ketchup in your back pocket," and the future self, it just appears. It's like there because the younger self did it. I love that stuff.
Well, yeah, it's like a.
I call it the Bill and Ted effect.
So don't worry about the 8 a.m., 8 p.m. I can't erase that. That's my last note. So I think there's a looping effect, but it's still moving forward all the time. That's why you're not actually running into yourself on the stairs ever, because you're still moving forward, but you keep looping back. And then each one of these lines is a screen for future, past.
I feel like you should put this on your website.
But wait,
what he's showing us is a big spiral design to show that the line is moving, but it's in a circle, keep on spiraling. And then there's a line going through it in the middle for past on one end and future on the other.
So Desmond, you're saying that it is a loop, but because they're moving forward in time, they don't run into themselves?
Yes.
I don't buy into that.
That doesn't make sense because they're in one location and it's only 2 minutes.
I'm buying Ari's theory a little more, but it's still it's messed up that it's still in the future based on what happens, but he's lying to himself.
It's a magical device that can see into the future.
Yes.
And they are fulfilling the prophecy of what they see. And I wish they would have experimented more, like I said, with not fulfilling the prophecy, because there is that one moment. Can we talk about that now?
I just saw the VCR scene, and there's no way they would have ever done that without the crystal ball effect that Ari's talking about.
Yeah, that's what I don't think it's not a time loop. It's just that they can see. So the film gets interesting again when in their like Drost effect monitors, you see like a villain threatening with a knife, and all of a sudden you're like, what?
Like however many squares into
like what does this mean? What's about to happen?
Well, first they see someone holds up some money and says, I found this in a VCR in a dumpster under the train. And this is like, I don't know, 8 minutes in the past, 10 minutes in the past. And while they're going to retrieve the VCR, that's when they see the knife, somebody holding a knife to the barbershop girl's face.
Right. So eventually, right, through all these games of like they're just goofing around with each other every 2 minutes, then some serious stuff goes down. Yeah. Then they come looking for their money and they take the girl that our main character has a crush on. They take her kind of hostage. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's also some weirdos outside who you think are part of a cult that come into the picture later.
That's right. We see them earlier just for a minute, and they're just like, no. We're doing something. Shop's closed. Come back tomorrow. So then they take the barbershop girl upstairs, and Kato decides he's going to go save her.
Right. I mean, we don't have to do a play-by-play. It's not interesting if it's just a play-by-play, but there is an interesting moment where he has to go try to save somebody. The main guy has to try to go save the girl that he likes. And what he does is he takes the past monitor with him on this very long cord, right? So the future monitor is still downstairs with all of the friends, and he takes the past monitor with him. And so the friends downstairs already know what's going to happen in 2 minutes, but this guy walking up the stairs doesn't know. So he's slowly walking up these 5 flights of stairs with the past monitor, and all of a sudden one of his friends runs up behind him and hands him the ketchup bottle and was like, don't die, right? Your friends already know what's about to happen. You have no idea. But he's still walking up the stairs with the monitor, like, okay, I'm going to try and go save this girl from these bad guys. And then another friend runs up behind him and hands him this like metal cymbal from like a drum set.
Yeah.
And says like, you know, put this in your back and be careful. And so it's like, what are they seeing down there on the future monitor in 2 minutes? But because if you think about it, because he took the past monitor with him, they're already seeing what is happening through the past monitor. He is the past. He is holding the past monitor, and they're seeing the future through his through the past monitor. That to me was really interesting. One of the more interesting parts of this.
That's pretty cool. I mean, come
story.
on. That's some smart. This is so great. They make a fantastic time travel movie with one simple camera, but like it just shows you can get really cerebral. I read somewhere it said this is like Tenet minus like $5 million.
$5 bazillion.
$5 billion. Like,
yeah.
Just to finish this loop for our listeners. So then one more friend runs up and hands him this plushie that's a bug.
Yeah.
And says, here, put this in your pocket. And then when he gets in the room where the girl he likes is being held captive, then someone tries to stab him and they stab the ketchup instead of him.
Yeah.
Someone tries to shoot him. The bullet bounces off the symbol. And then he freaks the guy with the gun out because the guy's really scared of bugs. And so he freaks him out with the bug.
Yeah.
They all flee. He unties the girl.
And basically they're saved, all because he took the past monitor with him.
Yeah.
See it all 2 minutes.
And the future becomes the past.
Yeah.
That's so cool. That's
super
that's
cool.
the Tenet part.
Yeah. That was a really fun moment.
Oh, that's so cool.
So the next part I wanted to talk about was when they finally do something different than what the future monitor showed.
Yes, that's right. I forget that's not the end. That's such a climactic thing, but I forget.
So they finally do this. They're later on in the film. It's the main guy and the main girl. Everyone else has been passed out for some reason because there's these future people that show up. They've got like future outfits and future tech.
Future people.
And they're like, we need to erase your memories. We've already erased everyone else's memories. You can't have knowledge of this. They don't explain anything. They don't explain how the monitors work or why them in that time. They're just like, hey, take this powder.
Well, they explain that they are the time travel police from the Time and Space Bureau,
right?
From a future that they don't want to talk about,
right?
And then they show, and then they look in the future monitor and they see themselves taking this knockout powder.
Yeah. So they're like kneeling down in front of the monitor to show that they took it. So when it's their turn to do this now, they kneel down.
And now.
Yeah, and the now. Not the future, but the now. They, instead of taking the powder, one of them sneezes and the powder goes everywhere. And the two future guys are like, oh no, quick, we have to fix it. Otherwise, bad things are going to happen. Do you remember?
Well, because they're already freaking out, because even if she takes the powder again really quick, that's still like 10 seconds later than she was supposed to take it. So
something's already been messed up. So both of the people don't take the powder and they're freaking out and they just slowly start to disappear.
The time and Space Bureau people, the cult people disappear.
What they're saying is if you don't fulfill the prophecy or the whatever the future monitor shows, you change the future. Is that what they're saying?
Yeah, and it could be something big.
Yeah, I mean, unless you're changing their existence or you just fuck up the whole time stream.
Yeah, it could be something big, it could be something little, and obviously this little thing was a big one. These two individuals having knowledge of time travel is going to really change the future.
Yeah.
And then they have a date and it's over.
Oh, yeah. Then they have a quick little conversation. And our main character, like all of his friends were all about this whole thing. And the whole time, Kato was just like, fuck this. This is, no, I don't want anything to do. And then he kept getting dragged into it for paradox reasons. But he explains, God, I forget what his, they both tell a story about how knowing the future didn't work out for them. And so that's why they're all about the now and not trying to outguess the future. And so that's why they're a perfect couple who will live happily ever after.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's love. It's always love.
It's always love. You gotta have love.
I just to be this have this smart a film with this like low budget is it's pretty
impressive.
cool. It's
Yeah.
impressive. And not only that, but then have to try to do it as a one shot and the choreograph.
Oh,
It's impressive.
Yeah. And they were probably like, once they had the script solidified and they're like, oh yeah, this worked. We made it work. We figured it out. They're like, how can we make it even more better? Oh, we're gonna try to shoot as much as possible in one continuous shot. And as a film person, someone who like Scott went to film school, me, I did a little production back in the day. It's a big deal to have one consistent shot. I don't know if you've ever been a part of anything.
And even if it was just something like theatrical, but this not only is it one shot, but like you have to going in the time travel aspect and the monitors and the back, it's
yeah, I've been a part of a long shot. I've also heard stories of other people being part of a long shot. I mean, and you can be 20 minutes into it, 30 minutes into it, and something gets messed up. You have to start all over from the beginning.
And depending on what you're shooting, it could take a full day to reset.
right.
Yeah.
Just like we just watched the scene, the Daredevil scene, the like 10-minute fight scene in the show Daredevil. And like, you know, so they're breaking shit all over and getting all bloodied and stuff like that. Like that's a full day reset. That's just, do you guys have the movie on right now?
Yeah, we have the movie on right now. We're just watching the part where they first put the monitor in front of the other monitor, and I was counting how many squares in. So there's a frame is 1, then it's 1, 2, 3. The third monitor in is covered up by a towel.
Okay.
So that stops it there. So it's 1, 2, and then the third one is covered up. And it's just to think about how they filmed this. They had to film the scene and then put the monitor behind them and then film them reacting to the film they just filmed and then put that on the next monitor and then film themselves reacting to
And have recordings of it for when they shot it.
Yeah, for each frame within the frame have a recording and reacting to it. And it's just really genius.
It's a really, so this is a full like Japanese genre. It was apparently started with One Cut of the Dead, which is a zombie movie made in a one scene zombie movie. And so this is kind of all the rage in Japan right now. And I could totally look up more of these.
So they like their one takes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're super super low. Like One Cut of the Dead was made for $25,000, and you know this one was. So did you say they used a drone, but then they just used
a camera? No, it's the camera from a drone. They had it kind of mounted. They used that, and they used a phone as a monitor, so they could move around smoothly and quickly.
Okay.
Yeah, but for anyone who's in production or ever done a long take like this, it's a big deal.
Yeah.
It is kind of like doing a play, but you're moving around and the camera, you know, and I saw the behind the scenes at the credits and they had a boom. They had a boom.
Yeah.
Mic. I would be so afraid of the boom mic getting in a shot. And then you're like, oh, we got to start over.
Good job, Boom Dick.
Back to the beginning. Yeah.
Yeah. And like they had to hide the person, like when they did the stab in the ketchup, like there's a girl like hiding on the floor and then like the knife goes by the guy's side. She sticks the ketchup, you know, and then she's got to run and hide real quick and then the camera's all the fuck over the place either.
Yeah.
It's not like they put the camera in one place and make it easy on themselves. Like the camera is moving constantly.
Yeah, it's really impressive. And it also makes it easier to do now that cameras have gotten so small.
Yeah.
So there are a few movies back in the day, like what's that one movie, the gangster movie where they go through
Goodfellas.
Goodfellas. So is it the opening scene of Goodfellas where it's one shot and they probably shot it on actual film, you know? Totally. And so this huge heavy cameras, it's like a 10-minute or something.
Reservoir Dogs does that super long one.
Yeah, so it's a big deal to do one shot takes and then let alone a whole movie or half a movie, however they did this. It's really impressive.
Yeah, I wonder how much they were able to pull off in one shot.
There are we did catch some cutaways, right?
Did
where
you?
they go to a close-up of a monitor or something.
Or a wall there might have been, but I don't know. I'm still impressed.
Yeah.
It took 10 days to shoot it.
Oh, okay.
Which is pretty minimal still, but yeah, with one shot.
They probably just practiced it over and over again and shot it over and over again.
It is distracting watching it while you're podcasting.
I'm a pro at it.
Yeah. What a cool film.
Yeah, really well done.
Even when this podcast first started, even when YouTube first started doing it, I feel like time travel movies since then has like multiplied by a very large factor. It's been a lot of changes, a lot of great films, a lot of revolutionary stuff. It used to be, it felt like a lot more straightforward and not that many films. I would put this on a list more than Your Name. I'm not trying to bag on Your Name again, but I would.
The movie Your Name, our previous episode, yeah.
But I would put this higher up, I would think, than something like that.
So as far as time
or Triangle,
time travel, what? No,
I fucking
Triangle?
love Triangle.
He loves himself some Triangle.
Fucking love Triangle.
I really got to watch that, don't I?
You do. Yeah, welcome back, Ari.
Sorry about that. I was I think I was fighting a cold or something. I was like, I have to go to bed right now. But as far as time travel goes for this one, for the Beyond the Infinite 2 minutes, the only thing that's traveling through time is the image on the monitor. I mean, and could you really categorize this as time travel if it's just looking into the future or looking into the past? Like a window looking into the future is considered time travel, or a window looking into the past?
You're saying, is it a time travel film? Well, I mean, that's like frequency and deja vu of time. Oh,
no, in deja vu, he actually travels.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. He does.
So, but you can compare this to frequency. Absolutely.
It's just communication through time.
It's communication through time.
Oh, yeah. It's not actual time travel. That's a good point.
I would have considered it more time travel until Ari convinced me that it's a crystal ball. The future is just a crystal ball.
Yeah. I'm saying it's a portal. It's a connection between these two times through the monitors. That's all it is. There's a link. It's a way, but look at like deja vu. They were able to look into the past. You can look through these monitors, have a little portal between them where you could see 2 minutes in the past or 2 minutes in the future.
Yeah.
But it is not a time travel film. It's frequency. Yeah. It's probably the best.
Until the moment where they did something different and it changed the future. Right. So
what's the one with the camera that takes a photo one day?
Time lapse.
Time lapse.
That's probably comparable also.
Yeah, time lapse.
Not an official time travel film.
Yeah, so there is this subcategory of time travel movie where it is not the people traveling through time, it's information. or sound or pictures. Yeah, so what would that be called?
Do you want to call it informational time travel, communicational time travel?
Yeah, or two-dimensional.
All right, well, here's a fun game. Let's break down what are the subgenres of time travel films.
Oh boy.
All right, there is.
You can't do that on the spot, can you?
Yeah.
Wow.
There's the Groundhog Day. Do you just want to call that the endless loop? What do you want to call that?
I call it the Groundhog Day effect.
Yeah.
Totally, right? And like Edge of Tomorrow and stuff.
Yeah, the repeating day.
Yeah. There's actual time. I mean, depends how you want to break it down. There's actual time travel films. You move forward or backwards in time. But then there's linear.
Like what would Triangle be? Like mystical, or what would you call that?
Magical.
Oh, you mean in terms of I was just going that, right? Not the way that it happens, but just like there's the looping film, there's time travel film, there's informational time travel. I don't know if you want to start breaking the subgenres also of then does this person go back in a machine? Can they just see in the past? Can they go into their own body? Or like travelers, can they go, their consciousness goes into someone else's body?
Consciousness would be on that list of subgenres. Consciousness would, for sure.
I've thought about making this list so many times before. I love that we're just doing it.
Yeah. We also have to compare our top 10 lists also eventually.
Do you have yours, Scott?
I don't, but I could make one real quick.
He didn't do his homework.
Do you have yours?
I told you. That's why I texted you today. I told you.
I can make it quick. Go talk about some things.
Do we want to make it quick, or do we want to make him think about it, Ari?
Well, do you want that to be on this episode, or do you want this to be its own separate episode?
I guess it might be nice to make that an actual conversation.
Yeah.
Because I think we should really, because we're gonna have some questions about other people's lists, and so we should make that a conversation. We can make that a mini, or do you want to? I don't know. Let's next time we can record earlier. Let's we'll do a movie and then we'll take our time on our top 10, because I think
like we could do an actual episode where it's like Des, Scott, and Ari's top 10.
Yeah.
We'll just do a whole episode on that.
Yeah.
Ooh, that could be for like anniversary time, or maybe to also help celebrate our impending exciting holiday.
BTTF Day. So, would you want this kind of time travel?
I mean, what's the point? I mean, how much? I mean, they did a lot in those 2 minutes, and they were able to extend it past 2 minutes. But I mean, in order to do that, you have to have these two monitors in front of each other for however long.
Yeah.
And you have to actually be like in front of the monitor and do something. Because if you're just on the side watching between these two monitors, nothing's going to happen unless someone else comes in to wherever you are and interacts with you.
Yeah, because you'd have to. Yeah, because if something cool happens, so let's say you wanted to change something. So you go. Well, first of all, if you're the only one that knows about this, let's just say, so you can just put these two monitors in your room and just leave them there for fucking years.
Yeah, but unless it's in a place where other people are walking and interacting with you, nothing's going to happen.
But you could talk to your, in theory, you could talk to your past. So let's just say, here we go.
Oh, you could talk to yourself and warn yourself?
Every night at a certain time, you make a date with yourself that every night at a certain time, you're going to stand in front of that. And some days you'll stand there and you'll get nothing. And other days you'll stand there.
I guess if you like went throughout your day and then you went and reported to your past self about your day and said, look out for the, poo on the sidewalk. Don't step in that. I guess if you were far enough in the future, you could do that, but you would have to be hours, like 24 hours, let's say. Because for them, they were only like 2 minutes, 4 minutes, 6 minutes, whatever it was at 2, 4, 6, 8. Was that what they were doing? So at most, they were like 12 minutes into the future. But in order for you to really make any significant change in your life, it would have to be at least 24 hours. So, I mean, how many little tiny squares within a square would you have to have?
We're going to find out, Ari.
You're going to do the math?
30 times 24. I should be able to do that by myself, but I can't.
Where are you getting 30?
30 is how many pictures per hour. So at 2 minutes at a time, there's 30 pictures per hour.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
So you're 720 deep to talk.
Yeah, and by that time, it would be so tiny. I mean, maybe you would still have sound, but the image would be so tiny just to talk to yourself with the 24 hours in the future. So no, to answer your question, no, I would not want to use this form of.
Yeah, this is not. It's going to cause more trouble than good.
What about you, Des?
I don't think so. I mean, I'm trying to think of a situation, because if you own these monitors and you can do whatever you want with them, where would a 2-minute head start? I mean, they said it, the racetrack, but even a horse race is more than 2 minutes, so you wouldn't be able to place a bet before the race is over.
Yeah, it's kind of not really useful.
Yeah, that's what makes this kind of genius.
Yeah.
Is that if it was 60 minutes, they could have taken over the world.
Yeah.
But at 2 minutes.
I made my list, but I have to get the order right.
Awesome.
This was a great suggestion. So yeah.
Thank you, Matt. Until next time, I'm Desmond McNeese.
I'm Ariel Gala.
And I'm Scott Lifton.
Catch you on the flip side. I was trying to think of something that was like catch you in the next monitor square in down.
Tagline.
Yeah, I don't have a good tagline. Sorry, guys.
Nailed it. What are we doing October 21st?
Oh my God, we're celebrating the most important holiday of the year. No. It's not Thanksgiving. It's not Christmas. It's not even your birthday.
Is it Halloween?
No, it is the most important day, my friends. It is Back to the Future Day. That's right. We didn't even start this. This exists.
Great Scott.
That's right. You don't need any gigawatts to do this. And I believe we've researched this, right? And it is
October 21st.
That's what I said, October 21st. So I would have thought it was when they go back to 1955 in the first film, but they're deciding this based upon when they go to the future in the second film. That's the date.
This was the date that everyone was able to celebrate for 20 years, 30 years before it actually showed up. So now that we're here and it's past, we're still going to celebrate it. We are going to celebrate it. Most importantly to you fans out there, we are going to finish the trilogy.
Yeah.
And Ari to make up for last week, Ari is going to do Back to the Future 3 all by herself, while Scott and I go to Arthur Max and eat wings.
While you guys go take a nap.
This episode's been sponsored by Arthur Max. We're going to do Back to the Future 3. We're going to close the trilogy. Ari has some issues with the Western genre, but it is also time travel, so she will bravely navigate her way through it.
We're going to do it. We're going to let her watch the first two in preparation for the third one. That'll be...
Actually, yeah, I think I might have to do that.
Yeah.
I'm going to do a full rewatch.
I think we should do other things to celebrate. It's a big day, or we get more letters from people, or maybe
do we get to
we
dress
can get
up?
phone calls, or what can we do? It's a big, that's our holiday for us. This is the biggest thing.
Can we dress up in 80s?
Maybe that's when we should announce our lists.
Where's my? I'm looking for me and Doc Brown. I don't know if I might still have the Doc Brown get up in my Halloween box. To go.
Oh yeah.
Go full Doc Brown for this one. Or Scott's gonna dress up as Einie.
As what?
Einstein.
Oh,
or
Einie.
no.
Yeah.
You're gonna go classic. You're gonna go Copernicus.
I'll do a good Biff.
Very nice.
Very excited.
So yeah, so
Celebrate
we're gonna
with us.
Yeah, we're gonna be talking about it. We're gonna be watching it. We're gonna release October 21st on the day of. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be a bonus episode. It's on a technically kind of an off week for us, but not this year, folks. October 21st, we're bringing you bonus Back to the Future 3. And if we have a great day, we're gonna get together and watch it somehow, some way. And if we're lucky, we will also play a round of the Back to the Future game. And we will talk to you guys about that. We will make a full day. We'll have to celebrate kind of early because we want to bring you guys all the fanfare, but you can catch it on October 21st.
Can we all drink tabs?
I can give you a tab, but you got to buy something.
Can we play Duck Hunt?
Yeah, that we can do.
Oh.
Hold on to it. It's a baby's toy. All right, that is coming up in Jesus, that's 2 months away. That's crazy. 2 months away, Back to the Future Day. But next time on Time Pop, brought to you by our wonderful listener, Melanie. I don't know where Melanie's from, but this is what she has to say. Hello. Oh, let me read this properly. Hello, Chrononauts. I love your show. I love time travel movies. But when I can't talk about them, they get more and more confusing. You guys help me work it out. I don't always understand the movie any better afterwards, but at least I feel like I have a partner in my confusion. Yes, Melanie, we will be your partners in confusion. I'm sure you understand Beyond the Infinite 2 Minutes better now than you ever have before.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, I just watched Press Play, a new time travel movie from this year. I think it would make a good conversation and hopefully help me through my thoughts about it. The Time, in quotes, machine is a mixtape, which is a blast from the past already. I will spoil no more, except it does star an actor from Outer Range. Ooh, which I know at least Des has seen. Another two-timer to add to your list. Enjoy, hopefully, and can't wait to hear your thoughts. Melanie from the past.
Yeah. Thanks, Melanie.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I've heard of this, and like my love for time travel film and music and mixtapes. Oh my God.
So just for our listeners out there, when they say two-time actor, it's actors who have been in more than one time travel movie.
Yes.
Who's the actor that's been in two time travel
I don't know.
movies?
I got to look it up right now. I'm looking in right now. It's not Danny Glover. I know it's not Danny Glover.
Thanks for the suggestion, though.
Absolutely. Is it him?
What did we figure out last time? We came up with two actors that were in the two-timer club.
No, there were three.
Three? Oh yeah, wait. There's Bruce Willis. There's Rachel McAdams.
Michael Caine.
Michael Caine.
Oh, rad. Okay. Lewis Pullman is he is Rhett Abbott from Outer Range. God, that does not look like him at all in his picture, but that does. Awesome. Excited to see.
Melanie is very knowledgeable.
Yes, a true time travel fan, I feel like. Well, so I just have to I'll ask Melanie and then Scott can answer. How do you pull off a mixtape in 2022?
Oh wow.
When is this movie set?
I would like, I mean, I don't know anything about the film. I loosely heard about this. I would love to think that like you find your dad's tape and you find like a tape player and the songs take you back each time you hear it. But I don't, I used to be a mixtape connoisseur and creator. So this is very exciting. I hope the music is like not all new pop music. I hope it's like, if it's a mixed, it's older music. I mean, it's on a tape. It has to
Oh,
be.
you want to know what the tagline is?
What?
Rewind and love again.
Oh,
Love
I
story.
think
love story.
Love is gonna play a part because that's
It always does.
That's so the short version. So press play 2022, brand new. Love it. Thank you. PG-13, 1 hour and 25 minutes. That is the sweet spot. Directed by Greg Bjorkman. All right.
Best.
Starring Lewis Palmer, Danny Glover. We do not get enough Danny Glover these days. Oh, Matt Walsh, which I didn't know his name was Matt Walsh, but
Oh,
yeah,
Matt Walsh was in it. Good.
he's awesome.
UCB comedy alum.
Oh yeah, he was on stage. He was one of the guys on stage when you took me, wasn't he?
Yeah, he's a big UCB improv guy who's on everything.
That is
All right, Matt Walsh was in it. I'm on board.
fantastic. Sorry, I'm looking up one more thing.
So now I've made my list. I've got like 12 or 13. I gotta
Yeah.
got a few babies. Yeah, it's not in the order yet. It's gonna take some thought to do the order. I might have some answers that surprise you. I think we all might have some things that are common.
Yes. Yeah. When we get the list done, we'll post them. I think we'll do our list from 10 to 1. We'll talk our way down. We're not just gonna blast them out. We're gonna really scrutinize each other on our list here.
We're gonna scrutinize each other like we do these films.
Absolutely. And then I think we should take the aggregate of all of our lists and make the Time Pop top 10. So
That's a good idea.
And then when that's done, we should work on what we think is the worst time travel film. That'll be the next project.
No, thank you.
well, thank you, Melanie. We're excited to watch Press Play. We will be talking about it next time on Time Pop.
It's not us, it's you.
Let it play.
It's not you, it's me.
Mixed and edited by Desmond McNeese for We Mixed It, LLC. Go to whatsoundsawesome.com.
I have so many questions already.